Number 5. Kimbo Slice. With zero ground game, it's shocking Kimbo Slice has any MMA victories at all. Most of his early wins are suspected to be fixed fights, but that didn't stop the UFC from signing him to be on The Ultimate Fighter. Kimbo was easily beaten by French fry expert Roy Nelson via TKO. Kimbo also fought on The Ultimate Fighter Season 10 finale in a horrible showing against Houston Alexander. Kimbo gassed early and did almost nothing the entire fight.
This is just getting weird now. This is like over a minute of just spinning around in a circle.
But strangely enough was still awarded the decision win. Kimbo went on to lose his next fight against Matt Mitrione and was cut from the UFC. Number 4. Giant Silva. At 7 feet 2 inches tall, it's hard to believe how bad Giant Silva is at fighting. But you have to feel bad for him because he doesn't seem to want to fight and always takes a brutal beating.
And it is over, just like that.
Silva lost 6 of his 7 fights in Pride and retired in 2006 with the win over Akebono. Number 3. Jason Thacker. While training out of an abandoned garage in Canada, Jason Thacker received a call from the UFC with an offer to be on the very first season of The Ultimate Fighter.
You've struggled technically and physically since day one. You've almost become like a mascot for our team.
Thacker took on fellow castmate Chris Lieben and was quickly TKO'd in the first round. Thacker showed no evidence of a ground game or striking experience and hasn't fought since the loss in 2005. Number 2. Sean Gannon. Sean Gannon's claim to fame was a win over Kimbo Slice during a street fight around 2003. The UFC noticed his terrible striking and cardio and decided to sign him to fight against Brandon Lee Hinkle at UFC 55. Gannon was quickly taken to the ground and was on the receiving end of Hinkle's ground and pound. The fight was stopped in the first round and Gannon was never heard from again. Number 1. James Toney. James Toney was a former boxing champion with no MMA experience at all. So the UFC quickly signed him to a contract when Toney showed interest in competing in MMA.
Like I said, once he put his money where his mouth is, who's better, MMA or boxing?
Toney was matched against former UFC champion Randy Couture in what would barely be considered a fight. Toney was taken to the ground and he realized that he made a terrible mistake entering MMA. Toney was submitted early in the first round with an arm triangle and retired from the MMA.
I mean, this is what I